Hey, we're live. Thank you so much for coming along. I can see lots of people here already. That's fantastic. So yes, the midweek trying to pick us all up. It's such a dark time in every sense, I think. All we can do is stay at home and distance. I know it's hard, but I hope this is some kind of support. Very, very much thinking of people working in hospitals at the moment. What a dreadful time. They've had such a difficult year. And yeah, these films are very much dedicated to them. And maybe there'll be some staff joining or looking at this afterwards. So we're thinking of you, and we hope this could be a kind of a relaxing place to come and join. Know that people are supporting you. Hello, Stephen, and that we're all doing our best to distance and to be really good because we really do care for each other. And I hope origami is a really good way to express that. It's been such a joy over this time. Hello, Eric, to be able to offer this support. I have to say it's helped my support too because I felt so connected to others. It's been a joy to see what people have folded and to always find some kind of new something. That's great. I mean, part of what's difficult in this time is this kind of feeling of stagnation of each day being a bit the same. Hello, honey. But oh, thank you. That's very kind, honey. Yeah, so I try to bring a bit of calm and loveliness that we need, and I think that very much comes from origami as well. So I'm bringing along a beautiful flower. I was actually trying to find a very special flower to put on a card for a friend actually who had lost a loved one. So I'm thinking actually this is such a beautiful, calming flower, and it's also can be a very nice one to learn to be able to make for cards because actually at the back of it's kind of flat, so this is perfect to be able to glue on the back. It's a beautiful model. It's absolutely stunning, and it's one piece of paper. Now I have learnt this myself from YouTube videos. I just thought it's absolutely gorgeous. I've been trying to find out who's designed this, and it's a little bit conflicted. From what I understand, it could be a St. Paulia flower from 1989 from Sonobu, hope that's correct, which it does look the same from the front, but somebody else has also mentioned Komiya dahlia. I have to say, I do think this looks like a dahlia, but that's just the name. So my thanks to whoever has invented this. Probably Sonobi because it's a bit further back, but it involves a twist which might be a more recent thing, so I don't quite know. So I've included that in the credits, and thank you. It is based on films that others have shared as well, but so it's a slightly more complicated one, but I think it's worth it. Isn't that stunning from just one piece of paper? So we're going to make it in white. I've been making lots of colourful ones. I've also been making lots of folds, and I've made some little well-being origami packs which I've sent to my colleagues who are working with patients with COVID and also in oncology as well. So I've done, each has been a different little fold, all sorts of things. So I was looking also for a flower that would be okay flat to be able to post. And yeah, so I've been doing many different things. So this has been a new flower for me. I have to say I absolutely love it. There's a lovely dynamic feeling to it, isn't there? A nice twist. So it's a slightly more challenging one, but I think less challenging than last week because we did a modular piece which took quite a bit of time. But in this month, I've been particularly keen to bring along more challenging pieces because I think we need it. I think when you get really focused on that little bit of a push, then it helps. I think it helps during this time. So I hope it's kind of energizing and exciting you. I don't know how many of you have folded this, but I hope you're going to enjoy it. So I'm going to wait till just one more minute and then we can get folding. So grab yourself some paper. I'm just going to show you from A4, but I think this one's a real treat. It's really nice, isn't it? Doing a rainbow form of all these flowers. Lovely. Anka, oh, thank you for joining us. So in Germany, that's wonderful. Great. And you can see my fairy lights up all times of the year. And on a day like this, it's really dark and raining. I'm so glad for a little bit of twinkly light. And you can see lots of colour around me. At the moment, actually, it's very exciting, very unexpected. because I'm part of hospital staff, our hospital has just offered to all staff, have invited them for a vaccine. That was completely unexpected. And I just think, out of principle, anyone who gets that invitation, absolutely take it. It's a chance to, obviously, to look after yourself, but loved ones around, but for the whole country. The more people who have vaccines, the better. I'm afraid this is a disease which definitely can kill people, leave organ damage. The more we can protect, the better. It's the only way that we'll be able to get out of this. Thank goodness for science. I've been doing some origami, making some origami antibodies, viruses, vaccines, a little syringe. I don't know, I might show you these things at some point. So yeah, I think, make these things a little bit more fun. So I had my vaccine on Monday, it's Wednesday, so I feel so well. I feel absolutely great. So just to reassure you, if any of you are like, oh, vaccine, this was a different one, the Pfizer. So it's a messenger RNA vaccine, which as a scientist, I'm very excited about. I've had tiniest I'd noticed that I had an injection, but nothing else. I felt in no way unwell. I felt really well. So just to really reassure you, and I really hope you'll get an invitation at some point. I know we have to be horribly patient, but we do. And we need both of those. The booster as well, it won't just work from one, but it's a step forward. And each person who gets that vaccine is a step forward. So thank goodness for science. If you grab yourself a board, grab yourself some paper, and let's get folding. Oh, thank you, Eric. I know, and if I could have given that vaccine to someone who clearly needs it, I would, but I know that's not how it works. And it is about the principle. Actually, it's incredibly important that staff in hospitals are looked after. Feel very cared for. And principle of yes is exactly what we should all do. So we're going to make a square, first of all, corner. I have to say, that feeling of hope has really helped. It was quite interesting travelling to London. I live in Oxford, and it's probably easier actually than crossing London, because I could take an off-peak train to London. There was only 4 or 5 people in the carriage at a distance by the end, everyone good. And on the way back, no one else. And I just cycled and walked. So it was very easy. So we're going to get rid of the rectangle. Yeah, but just to let you know, because people shout about negative things, but I felt it was went really well. I felt very happy, and I felt completely well and very happy. There we go. And a little tear, and I hope any of you who are older, that it won't be too long till that first invitation. But that's not to stop being careful. It's only after the second one, with enough time, that we can start to be more, hope for a more normal life. For now, it's not just going to change anything, but it's positive direction. So I've done one diagonal line. Let's do the other diagonal line. There we go. So that's my big news. Not one I expected at all. Only found out on Thursday and put myself in for an appointment straight away, really. It was nice to visit the hospital where I work. It's been a long time. So you've hopefully got something like this, which looks like a little tent. Excellent. Oh, wow, Wendy, excellent. You had no side effects. Wendy, did you have the Pfizer vaccine as well, the very cold one? Yeah, whichever one it is good. They all have very good protection. The Pfizer vaccine, from what I was reading, so a trial, 32,000 people, only 32,000 who had the vaccine, only one person got seriously ill with COVID. That's astonishing. No vaccines are that good. I mean, it's really good. So these vaccines are as good as it gets. Oh, excellent. But we need the second one, and we still need to be careful for now, but it's a step forward, isn't it? I really wish that for everyone. So we've done those diagonal lines. Right, our next step is we're going to divide this up into 3s. Now, this is always the trickiest step. Be really kind and patient with yourself. So it's a bit of a guesstimate, this one. But we try and fold it so it looks roughly like this is equal. So just have a play. It's always hard splitting into threes, but you'll get there. You can always reposition. Guessing that looks about equal. So for me, I'm going to then press it down there, and then I'm going to take this and fold it at the back and see whether they match. Now, if they don't, you can reposition. I will find out. I'm a little bit out. So I'm going to have to slightly adjust. Oh yes, the Z. Yeah, Z. Yes, you're right. It is a Z. Z. Yeah, as I said, it's always a bit tricky. Be patient with yourself. This is, I think, the trickiest part of it. I'm repositioning myself, so this may well take you a bit of time as well. So if it's not matched up, try again, adjust a little bit more. I never find this easy, but that's, again, part of the joy. I think I've got it now. Pretty good. So it is a little Z there, and I might grab a mouthful of coffee while you're while you're also trying to get that done. So it's split 3 ways. Thank you. Actually, it's been really nice to hear from friends. You've all been very kind, because it's felt with the vaccine, it does feel a bit unfair, doesn't it? We want everybody to have it, but that just each person who gets it, we've got to celebrate that. And yep, it's one step forward, and to encourage each other as well, and to know completely well. I was even doing the videos the next day and sessions, so you know, I've not even felt off at all, not at all. From some doctors. They were very interested in the origami. I wish I'd brought some now. I was thinking, do I bring an origami leaflet? I thought, no, I shouldn't distract, because it's important everything is done as, you know, smoothly as possible. So I didn't, but I slightly regretted it afterwards, because I think they were really interested, so I could have left them something. So have you all done those 3 lines? Great. Oh, excellent. Excellent. So you got a whole family. That's wonderful. This is going to be a challenging one. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you for letting us know, honey. Welcome, all of you. Right. So if you've all done your 3 lines, so they should be a marker. Oh, excellent. Oh, Stephen, that would be great if you could teach me sometime. We'll send a link. Thank you. I mean, I've just tended to do it just by positioning that way. So you can sort of see that those 3 lines intersect on those diagonal. So to do the 3 the other way around, it should be quite simple. That you can, if you've managed to do it one way, then you can fold it down to touch the diagonal. So all these words. I sometimes find myself so visual. I find it very hard to put into words. But you can see I've matched it up. And it's the same if you can do that. Oh, brilliant. Oh, thank you, Eric. And then also folding there. And if you take this and then fold it down to the other line. Sometimes I don't do things the easiest way. Hey, it's okay. Right. How are you doing? Are you all up with me? I know that 3 step is a tricky one, and then after that we can get going. Happy, everyone? You good? I can't hear you. Our next step will be just to fold in the middle. Thank you, Eric. Are you managing to do this one, Eric? I hope your hands are okay today. So we're going to do a horizontal and a vertical. Good. So we're just going to fold it in half. So fold it in half, please. That's our next step. Have any of you made this one before? Oh, good. I'm glad your hands are good. I wonder whether it's slightly less cold weather. I don't know if that affects things. And fold it the other way as well in half. Don't know, these things are a bit of a mystery sometimes, aren't they? Go with the flow. Always get good strong folds. It's a secret to good origami. Right, should be looking like this. Looks like a nice little grid, doesn't it? Happy, everyone? Happy? Hopefully like this. Right. Our next step is to take a corner and bring it up there. This might be easier on a solid surface. Great. So you're going to take a corner and bring it up to the other corner, I suppose. And roll it down. Yeah, I'm curious, has anybody ever made this flower before? There's quite a few people who are very much regular origamists. They are origamists. This corner again up to there. So if you're doing the same, thinking of a honey household, this is going to keep you very busy. What a good idea. All generations together. Never. Excellent. Yeah, I hadn't done this either. I thought it was very beautiful. I wish I knew for sure who has done it, but it does look like Sonobe. So the corner up to there. It was really nice to make some packs for my colleagues. Something kind of physical, because there's just very little space on the wards to, or lack of cameras, obviously, on computers. Again, there, up to there. So a practical way of showing the care and support I'd normally give to staff and patients in person. Just when it's needed the most, I'm not there. Hello, Folding Things. Thank you for joining us. Excellent. So it should be looking like this. I don't know whether you've probably already made this Folding Things. So I hope that's working for everyone, that you've done those squares. Lovely. Next step is to take the corners and just fold inwards. So those bottom, or those corner squares, folding in. Oh, interesting, Stephen. And I wonder whether the Sonobe reference might be that, because I've got a feeling this involves a more modern twist. This corner to there. So I was curious if you end up with something that looks very similar, but it's not. Yeah, and there's a few other ones I saw which are quite similar. There we go. And then the other corner. Oh dear, it's all happening. There we go. So next, if you can turn that over. I don't think I can answer that. We're going to take an edge and bring it over, and just adding a fold effectively in the middle of the square. So we're going to take this corner, bring it up here, and as you do that, a fold just in that middle square. Can you see? And it's the same on each of these sides. Oh, excellent. Great. Thank you, Folding Things. I'm glad that worked for you. So again, the bottom edge, bring it up here, and we're just folding that middle square. It's such a fun fold. And the next couple of weeks, we're going to do a few more edgy ones as well. I just think this month we really need some more challenging things, I think, to get our mind focused off everything. And it's, I mean, January at the best of times is a dark month, but it's terribly sad for so many families and for hospital staff who want to save lives and help get people better. There's only so much anyone can do when numbers get so high and requires such care. Just thinking about how heartbreaking and traumatizing this will be. I hope that origami is something. But of course, the irony is when you're very busy under such stress, how do you have time to look after your well-being? But it's important to try to help prevent burnout. So we've hopefully got something like this. Does it look something like that? It's a rather nice shape. Don't fall from. Yes, watercolor paper is definitely a bit too thick for this one. It's nice to have these folds. Someone made one of these flowers out of, I don't know whether it was particularly transparent paper, but it was paper. It might have been quite thin paper, and put it in a lamp. It looks so beautiful. Like you saw another pattern emerge from it as well. So maybe go and have a look at yours on a light as well afterwards. So the next step, I sort of like to think of this almost as making a little table. So bring down the sides and tuck in those corners. Can you see what I'm doing is I'm folding that down and tucking in the corners. There we go. And doing that on each of the sides. So I'm feeling like I'm turning it into a table. That's the way I'm imagining it. So the sides. And again, each time tucking in the corners. Tucking in that corner. So you end up with something like this, which doesn't look like a flower at all, does it? Great. So hopefully something like that. It's a curious thing, isn't it? It will soon make perfect sense. I'm going to grab another mouthful of coffee while you, I'm sure, are playing with that one. The thing is, it's hard to comment when you're doing origami, isn't it? The chat box is not an easy thing to do because your fingers are rather busy. But I hope that's worked for you. So it's kind of folded in there in the corners. Beautiful sculpture, isn't it? Nearly. From Eric. Happy? Happy you managed to... Eric's very good at multitasking. Definitely. Honey, I hope it's working. Sorry, I brought you quite a challenging one this week, but it's really nice. And you can always go back through the video, or you can I've already pre-recorded a video, so consider it a work in progress. I think these ones are a little bit more tricky, but it is deliberate because I want to give you a little bit more challenge in this time. I can give you some easy ones later on, but I've actually found that a lot more people have watched videos which are a little bit more challenging. So I always try and share things that I find kind of exciting, that somehow just speak to me at the moment. Okay. All three still here. Well done. That's fantastic. Right, so is it looking something like this? We're going to start kind of shaping it. Oh my word, how does it all happen? So what I recommend, I've had a little bit of a play with how to do that, is I reckon the way that I found it begins to form a shape nicely is to go to the middle of one of these and just give that so it sticks up. I guess it's that mountain fold, isn't it? So I'm not adding any extra folds, but I'm just sort of lifting that up, pushing it in. Do you see? So each of these, I'm pushing that out as a mountain fold, sort of pinching it. Not adding any extra folds, but I'm just, you'll probably find your tongue sticking out with this. It's a real, getting this to stick up. and for these folds to go in. So I might go from one side to another. That's it. Oh, sorry, off view there. You can see a nice form is emerging now. So again, this lifting it up, and so it's kind of going up and down on each. So this was coming out. The next fold will go in. So we're not adding any extra folds, but we're just getting them all into the right kind of angles. There we go. It really is paper magic, this one, isn't it? And the same thing here. This form is beginning to do its thing. How's it working for you? I'm pinching those. So from this thing, you can see actually on the back that little square is forming. It is forming. So you should be able to nearly, I'm going to wait for just a moment, so because you could easily get left behind, I think, with this one, where you wonder how on earth it works. So I was sort of pinching those middle ones, and the next fold to go in, the next fold go out. So it's just in and out. But it's getting which one is out and which one is in the right position. There we go. Happy? Happy? I hope so. I wish I could be there helping you, but you know what? This is good for origami, because the only person who can really make things work is yourself. With definitely encouragement is needed and help, but you will get there. Okay, so what we're going to do next is hopefully it's something like that. And I would recommend I'm pushing all of these in, all of them in, and then it sort of pushes down to make a square. Now, you might find yourself wondering which direction does anything go. I find that too. Play around until it ends up being a sort of a flat square. So I'm afraid you just have to sort of test around how these things lie down. I feel fingers and thumbs myself. But what ends up lying down best is a kind of a flap each time, going around the same direction. Ooh. So it's almost like it's a little circle. Can you see this flaps up here, this flaps up here? So it's, I think matching round usually helps. Excellent. So it's flat, and on the back, that's how it looks. I think we've had a couple of hundred people viewing this film already, the recorded video that I've done. Amazing. We've had a lot of people. You know, I think the first sort of March onwards, you know, people were engaging, and I think people just lost their interest a bit as they get outside. Don't blame them. And I think, you know, now that we're really back into solid lockdown as it needs to be, then we realise just how important it is to look after our minds. And origami is a beautiful way to do that. So is yours like this, all flattened down? I'm deliberately being slow because I know it can take quite a while to figure out these things for yourself. Okay, I'll attempt to move onwards, but as I said, this already pre-recorded video. You can go through this, so don't worry if it's all going pear-shaped. Hopefully it won't. So our next step is take one of these flaps, they feel quite thick, and bring it up to that diagonal line. So it's folding. So Eric, sorry, this is a bit thicker actually. I'm aware that this will feel thicker. So I'm positioning it so it lies down like that. And at the same time, open it up. Hello, Junid. Oh, welcome. Yep, so you've lined that up and then opening up at the back, there's this awkward little flap. If you just, for now, just squash it down, doesn't matter what position, and it's beginning to open up this flower. So it really is quite an amazing fold, this one. The next ridge, again, lining it up to that sort of diagonal line. And you just go from one to another. Again, these extra thick ones. Sorry, Eric. Line it up if you can. And then at the back, kind of trying to open it out. And at the back, there's this little kind of flap, squashing it down because it's helping to open it up. A sense of achievement when you do finally get this. So if it does take you, you know, a few goes and a few watching videos, and most of all, it's probably playing and figuring out for yourself how it's possible. You can see where it starts and where it should go. Again, each ridge to those diagonal lines. It's not an easy one, but it's also rather beautiful, isn't it? That's it. Yeah, good idea. That sounds a good plan. Eric, is that for like squashing it down? I think that's, yeah, just go slowly. I'm just squashing it and I'm going to reposition a bit later on. Okay, each of these ridges lining up, and slowly this gorgeous turning flower is emerging. These thicker ones to that middle line. It's very thick. It can't open up until we open up at the back and sort of push it up and flatten it down. Whew. Archery forceps, oh, I love it. This equipment you have is brilliant. Yes. So hopefully, oh no, I've got one more to go. So you need to do this on every side. It's quite an intricate piece of origami, isn't it, this? I love it. Very beautiful, and it's got this lovely swirl. It's not easy. We don't go for easy, we go for exciting. Great. So it should look something like that. Now, don't know how you're doing. It's a bit hard to tell, and your fingers are probably engaged with your paper. So again, I'm just going to grab a mouthful of coffee again. There we go. Good old coffee. Feels like a taste of normality. These strange times. Right, turn to the back. And you can see I've just loosely squashed these down. Now, the best way to do them is the fold comes from one end, and ideally you can just slightly reposition this so that the fold comes from the very top. Well done, honey. This is not an easy fold for the whole family, but hey, you're going to be buzzing when you actually manage to do this, because it's not an easy one, but it is beautiful. Can you see I repositioned it so it's lined up here, and we're not far off. So again, I'm going to, oh, I don't think I've turned the same direction there. I don't think it matters. You don't generally see this, to be honest. Just realising it probably would be nice if they're all the same way around. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm wondering, it doesn't matter. But I think it seems to lie better if you just line up with whichever end is looking as if it's lining up there. Mine's slightly more that way. Doesn't matter. As I said, this is the back of it, but it's actually a pretty elegant back to a piece of origami. Oh, it's really nice, isn't it? It's not mine, of course, but it's a really lovely design, and hopefully nice to do something so special. But I was looking for a very special flower for a card, because you can easily then put some glue on the back, and it's quite flat for a card. Um, and yeah, it's special. We're not quite there yet. We're almost there. And the next step would just make it absolute perfection. There's something about this I just find mesmerizing. It's just so perfect. I don't know how perfect yours is. Um, but these little overhanging petals, I suppose, take take the corner. Again, this is quite thick actually. I think I'm gonna have to do this down here in my hands. Take the corner and just tuck it underneath. So I guess that underneath goes into that little fold. And it just rounds it off, and it also gives it a bit more depth. So each one of these, you're lifting up this corner and folding it underneath to that line. So you don't want to sort of double it. Don't know whether you can see. Folding it down. It's very beautiful, isn't it? And as I said, you know that there's a video there. You can go back on this. I really do hope it's working. But I'm aware that this is a more complex model, but I thought it was worth it because it's a stunning flower. And you can really see it actually how it's so beautiful. You really don't need patterns at all. In fact, I think patterns probably distract from it. I would go definitely for plain with this because you can see the lovely light and shadow. It's a beautiful sculpture, and yeah, if you can in some way try holding it up against the light, you might see a slightly different pattern emerge again, which is quite interesting. I'm doing this for each one. Ah, yes. Yes, the Kawasaki Rose. I'm wondering about showing that. So the Kawasaki Rose, I did myself decide to learn it. So there's repetition in the steps, but I remember attempting to look at the diagram and there are 42 steps, which is just crazy. I think actually in reality it's about 12 really. But I decided I really want to learn how to make a Kawasaki rose because they're so beautiful. I actually just happened where I work within the office areas within the hospital. I saw these stunning roses and wanted to find out who is making these origami roses. And I found someone who said, oh, she'll be here at this time. And I met someone who was making gorgeous Kawasaki roses and asked if she could show me. I had no idea how complicated it is because there are many steps. And she showed me. It took us maybe about an hour because I was that slow at it. And she explained that when she was studying, she was watching someone who in lectures would make these Kawasaki roses. She said she watched for about a year, and it was only then that she plucked up some courage that she wanted to learn. But it's a big old thing to learn, but really good. It was actually for me. It was the summer of the referendum. It was just for me, it was heartbreaking, but such a time when things are out of your control. And so I thought learning something which I could give roses to anyone would be a really nice thing to do. And it did take me summer to learn. But with time, things get easier and easier with origami. So you almost have to go through really pushing yourself to then other things will seem quite easy after that. And it is something hopefully I can just about still remember. I would make roses as well for patients, and I just remember making a Kawasaki rose for a patient who was very unwell and she couldn't at all do anything herself, but wanted to watch. And she said it made her feel free and it reminded her of gardens and being outside. And I'd often bring like some really nice Yardley rose spray. So I was like, close your eyes, it's going to smell of roses as well. It was really fun. People were like, no, how can you do that? Of course, it's just a perfume, but it was really nice. The roses would go down very well and people would really treasure them. But I could maybe one day try and show, but it is many, many steps, isn't it? It has got that lovely twist, beautiful twist, and it's a beautiful thing to do. Becomes swirling and sculptural. Yeah, it's really nice. You can make bunches of flowers and make them smell nice. And of course, the perfume stays in the paper. It hasn't, you don't want it to be too oily, the perfume, but it is nice. So I hope that's worked for you. Next week we're going to do something quite edgy and exciting, and yeah, I hope that this can be a place that can give you a little bit of warmth and connection. Thank you so much for coming along every week. It's really nice. It feels like we have our own little group around a table, and it's support for all of us, isn't it? And actually, a lot of people watch these videos afterwards as well. So hopefully they're joining in too, Wendy. Oh, wow, Kawasaki Rose the tablecloth. Oh, amazing. Wow. Wonderful. Oh, oh, you're very welcome. Wonder if we could kind of iron it. No, I suppose once it's in place, things stay. It's all about this beautiful tension that paper can have, isn't it? Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Anyway, I hope that's brought you a little bit of joy for this week. And yeah, we'll be back soon with another video, another session. And yeah, if you'd like to, if you're up for sharing what you've folded, always love seeing that. So if you happen to be on Twitter, it's fine if you're not on any of these things. I know, Eric, you're not. I don't blame you. On Twitter at Dr. Lizzie Burns, Facebook, Join the Fold, Origami to Beat Boredom. Just really encouraging each other and feeling connection. And oh, you're welcome. There is, yeah, and there's, oh, is there? Oh, that's interesting that Nick Robinson has done a rose. I'm going to be sharing a rose that I was learnt from Seda, a origamist who's in Turkey, and she showed me a really lovely rose, and it isn't difficult, and I don't, I wonder whether that's it. And I'll share that. I'll be sharing it with you. She doesn't know where she's learnt it from, but it's really nice and it's definitely doable. So that'll be a good one. We'll do a little bit of love themed around Valentine's Day. More about just showing your love for each other. I think a general love and care for each other. So take care, be kind to yourself, keep up the isolation. One day, at least science has produced the goods, so it will slowly, with patience, at least there really is that hope. Hello, hello. Sorry, we're just about to end, but you can always watch back. Take care, everyone. Keep safe. Keep well. Bye bye.